I need to think of an intro for this. Oh, God.
Ellie and Amy do a quiz. Sorted.
How much do performers know about their own CV? This is a question I've been asking myself for a while now, and I want to put it to the test. Welcome to a quiz interview, or a Quizterview. And today, joining me, star of The Little Big Things, writer of Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me, we have the amazing, the Olivier Award-winning AMY TRIGG.
Hey! Thank you for having me.
Now, Amy, you are my guinea pig in this series. Thank you so much for joining me and testing whether this format actually works.
I am up for the chaos. I'm here for it.
Now, how competitive would you say you are?
Embarrassingly so, I would say. I think the first time me and Jordan, my fiance, had like a mini argument was over Dobble. I've kind of blocked it out of my memory because it was a dark time in my life. No, I'm pretty competitive, and yeah, I get annoyed when I'm not good at things.
Oh no.
But I feel all right. I think I've improved as a person when it comes to competitiveness. I've tried to be better.
I really hope so. I don't want this to damage a friendship that is striking up.
It was lovely knowing you, Ellie. It was really nice. But I said before we started recording, like, I had every intention of studying for this quiz. Like, I think I text you being like, I'm treating this like masterminds. I'm going in on the different topics. I've not done that. Life has been busy, and I got to this morning and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
So, this quiz is going to work in 3 rounds. Round 1, where you're going to do the Quizterview, which I still don't know if that rolls off the tongue.
I love it.
We will have several questions about different shows that you've worked on. You are not only a performer, but you also do a lot of writing as well, so we're going to dive into all of that. Then, round 2, we're going to test your general theatre knowledge. I asked for a list of shows that you love. You provided me so many.
Too many!
And I'm going to test your knowledge on all of those and speak to you about some of your dream roles that you'd like to do in the future. And then finally, we're going to go into round 3, which I am dubbing the impossible round, where all of the trivia is twice as hard, but worth double the points. Are you ready?
No.
Question number 1. Which famous actress is the president of Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts?
Is it still Judi Dench?
It is still Judi Dench.
Thank you, Jodie.
Now, I have this as well. I have this. So I can ding you as well. So let's speak a little bit about Mount View, because when I was looking through, I was watching a video that you did for Get Into Theatre, where you were speaking about going for different drama schools. And something that I didn't even think about was when you were looking, you had to look for drama schools that were accessible as well. Could you speak a little bit about the process of applying for these and how damaging a lack of accessibility can be for young, aspiring disabled artists?
I always loved theatre, but I don't think I was really imagining that it was going to be possible. And then I think I hit a point where I was just like, sod it, let's just give it a go anyway and see how it goes. And I went for the approach where I was just like going all out. And I think I would have applied for every drama school in the country if it had been possible. I was originally applying for all musical theatre courses. And then someone made a comment to me about me maybe not being quite right for musical theatre. But I changed basically all of my applications to acting courses, except for Mount View. I kept Mount View as musical theatre because I've always been I've always been a massive theatre nerd. And, when I used to go to shows and like look in programmes, I'd always look to see where people trained. And a lot of people I really respected had trained at Mount View, and I kind of saw that it might be the right place for me to go. So I kept that one and luckily got into their musical theatre course and their acting course, and then had to decide. And I was like, well, screw it, let's do musical theatre and see what happens. But the audition process was tricky because not only was it finding schools that I could get into and get into easily. You know, there were schools that I went to where the only way of accessing it was through a goods lift that they wouldn't let me use on my own. So going in and out of the building, I would have to find a member of staff every time. And that there's no independence in that. And there were other schools where I couldn't access half the school. And even Mountview, when I first started there, they didn't have a lift in their main building. They had to put that in my first year. So for the first term, I got like private Alexander technique lessons because I couldn't go to where the like classes were. But it also meant that I couldn't get to the canteen. And obviously socially, that's like a big thing when you start drama school.
Yeah, massive.
But even auditioning for Mountview, I knew that I was going to have to accept that it wasn't going to be completely accessible because basically no school was. But then aside from like access, like physical access, you also had to convince people that it could work. And there were some schools I went to that you could kind of just tell that they weren't convinced about having a wheelchair user on their course, which was a hard pill to swallow, especially, I was 18 and doing these auditions and, trying my best. And I also think, fellow students that I was auditioning with, because when I was auditioning, quite a lot of auditions were workshop based, especially recalls. And so I would be in there, and I remember with this one group workshop audition, I just was trying so hard to be included, and they were just very focused on doing a physical activity that I wasn't part of. And the person who was running the audition stopped it, and they were like, look at who you're not including someone in your ensemble. And then they restarted it, but it was horrific because then everyone was making this huge effort to include me. And when sometimes that feels worse because it was very much like, come on, Amy, come and hold it. And I was like, I kind of be in the mix.
Overcompensation. I mean, I get that with people, like, when people get like pronouns wrong, people like overcompensate for the pronoun. Just to be like, she did that.
Yeah. They're looking over at you like you need to get your bell out and like do it every time they get it right. Yeah, it's so wild, isn't it? And it's kind of awkward because people are trying their best at that point, so you don't want to cut them down or anything. But it was an interesting process auditioning for drama schools, and looking back, it was a real taste of what the industry would be like when I left Mountview. But I loved it, and I learned so much from it, and I was a bit of a guinea pig for Mountview, I think, because I was the first wheelchair user on a performance course, so there was a lot of working out how things would work. It was definitely a learning curve, but I learned a lot of skills, particularly with dance. And I think that was one of the most heartbreaking things about graduating, because I graduated and realised that musical theatre wasn't quite ready for me. And I was really proud of especially my dance skills and how I'd learnt to adapt dance. And, I'd been trained to go into dance auditions and adapt those dances quickly and do it. And it was something that I loved. I really loved it. And I just didn't get to do that for quite a few years after graduating. But yes, that was a tangent, but Mountview.
We love that.
It was fun, but hard.
You ready for your next two trivia questions? These two are lumped together. So, first of all, The Glass Menagerie. This is a play that is told from the perspective of Tom. And because of this, he labels it as what kind of play?
A memory play?
It is a memory play. I love Glass Menagerie. Glass Menagerie is great.
I love it. I studied it a little bit at Mountview, and I remember thinking, gosh, I'd love to play Laura. I think that the dialogue and the scenes are just stunning.
Yeah.
And I think it's a masterclass in having these long scenes, but keeping them completely engaging. I loved it. And it was my first theatre job as well. I'd graduated in 2013 and waited, 3 years to do a theatre job, and I loved it.
Question 3. You played Sally in the UK tour of The Who's Tommy, but which iconic actress originated this role in the 1983 Broadway premiere?
Oh, no.
You should know this actress. I can give you like a hint.
Wait, don't give me a hint yet. Let me try. What year did you say?
1983. I think, if I'm correct, this was her Broadway debut.
Part of me is thinking Alice Ripley.
It's not Alice Ripley, but I'll
Is
give
it
you another
not?
shot.
Oh.
No.
Wait, who is it then?
I can tell you that she went on to do a lot of different musical theatre, including Little Shop of Horrors. She went on to do Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid? I actually don't know, and that's really bad because I've listened to her so much.
It's Cherie Renee Scott.
Oh, Cherie! Oh man, I should have known that.
So The Who's Tommy was your first taste into doing musical theatre professionally, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So doing Tommy was such a thrill because it was a musical. I did panic a little bit because I hadn't I don't think I'd had any or many musical theatre auditions come through. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And I, at MapU, was more of a legit singer than like a rock singer. Or like, this huge belt. So when I saw that it was The Who, I was like, but luckily there was the role of Sally Simpson kind of on the cards, and I was kind of hoping that they were going to keep me in mind for her, because she has kind of, her vocals aren't as kind of rocky and belty as some of the others. But it was a joy, and I think part of the joy of it was not only that I was getting to flex the musical theatre muscle, and it was quite dance heavy as well, the show, especially my track, and I was like loving it, but it was also the first time that I was in a show where I wasn't the only wheelchair user, and there were other actors and creatives who were disabled. It was just this really beautiful experience of not feeling other. Also gave me a lot of confidence to learn from people and learn when to ask for certain things, because I didn't know, I didn't go to drama school with anyone else who had similar access needs to me. And when I was working, when I was doing TV jobs and everything, it was the same deal. I think the only other times that I kind of had that experience was in R&Ds and workshops and readings, but they were very, short. So you didn't really get that bond and get to go and sit with someone in the pub and be like, I'm really struggling with this. And then have that person just turn around and be like, well, you can ask for this. It was really helpful in that way. And also touring the UK, being kind of independent in that way, was really exciting. And it was one of those jobs, when you get to the end of an experience, you're like, I did it. I managed to do it. And I think
like
I
a big
did it
celebration moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Like not just with the show, like I was very, very proud of the show, but doing that tour and going to different digs and venues, that was new for me, moving about so much. So I loved it for all those reasons.
Wouldn't be the last time.
It would not. Oh, we got to know digs.
Are you ready for question number 4?
Yes, born ready.
Which musical within a musical features a company of actors putting on a musical version of The Taming of the Shrew?
Kiss Me Kate.
Is correct. I love how I didn't ask an actual question about Taming of the Shrew. I asked about a musical version.
It's very on brand. I respect it. I respect it.
Look, if I do too many Shakespeare questions, the musical theatre audience will scream at me. So
they'll switch off. They won't be happy about it.
But come on, guys, you need to brush up your Shakespeare.
Which is a song from Kiss Me Kate. Hey.
But I asked you this because you did some work at the RSC. And this is very well documented because you did loads of vlogs. You are no stranger to YouTube yourself.
Yeah, I did. I think I did them every 2 weeks while I was with the RSC. And they were looking for people to do social media stuff. And I kind of volunteered to do anything and everything. I was just very excited to be there. And it was really fun. I loved doing it. And I love documenting that time in my life. Like even now I go back and rewatch some of the vlogs. And like I couldn't include certain things because obviously the RSC were kind of approving every single video, and I had to take certain bits out, like spoilers or bits that I don't know weren't quite right. So there is another video that's like privately listed on YouTube.
So basically, there is a secret AMY TRIGG vlog that the world will never see,
which makes me sound a lot more mysterious than I am. So that makes me happy. But I'm really glad I recorded that time, because that was one of the jobs I really, really wanted, like in auditions. So when this audition came along in 2018. It'd been a really quiet year. I'd been trying to keep busy, but I was really desperate to do another theatre job. And this season came along. Oh yeah, because I'd done earlier that year the Sonnet Walks and Shakespeare Within the Abbey with the Globe.
Yes.
Which was like, oh my gosh, and like an amazing job, so much fun. And it just I was like, I want to do more Shakespeare. Give it to me. I worked so hard at the auditions. Like it was embarrassing how much effort I put into it. Like I looked like I was studying for an MA. When I was like marking up all the scripts and everything. I was so anxious after that final audition. That was with my dad. He'd brought me into London. Oh, we drove to the wrong venue first.
I need this story right now. Oh my God.
We were in the car, and like my mum and dad are legends. They're so supportive, and if I was, I'd often travel to auditions on my own, but if I was feeling particularly anxious about something, or I needed to do prep in the car, they would kind of Swoop in. Dad was driving me, and I was just thinking we were going to the place where I'd had like the first audition. We were not. So we got like halfway to Clapham before realising needed to be in Soho, and so had to do a big U-turn and get into the centre. It was quite stressful. And after that audition, we had like a hot chocolate in a coffee shop around the corner, and Dad was kind of asking me about the auditions, but he knows that with auditions I tend to do them then forget about them and not really talk about them, but he was kind of like, oh, it's all right. And I just couldn't talk. I was like, I can't because I was so stressed. I wanted it so badly.
There's also something else I want to ask you about this, because there was an interview you did for the RSC where you mentioned, and you said, I think the quote is, it's still uncommon to have wheelchair users on stage. Obviously, that was around 2018, 2019. How much do you think that has improved since you did that interview? Or are there areas where you think it hasn't?
I think it has improved. Improved massively, particularly in Shakespeare. I'm going to put it out there. Like the RSC, the Globe, and other organisations that focus on classic texts, I think they're doing a much better job than particularly mainstream commercial theatre. But I think it has improved quite a bit. I think it would be foolish to say it hasn't, because there's definitely more awareness of it. And, I'm seeing people come through drama schools now who are wheelchair users and going straight into work, which is so exciting because, for me, it was very much in 2013 coming out of drama school and there being nothing. Now that people are doing that and there's something for them at the end of those 3 years, I think says a lot, and thank goodness. So I think it has improved. It's not perfect. It's one of those things that there are smaller theatre companies who have been doing the work for decades, who are still doing the work and maybe not being recognised as much as they should be. But in mainstream commercial theatre, something will happen. There'll be a production, like the Little Big Things, and then there won't be that representation for a few more years. And it's almost like there's some kind of commercial theatre god who kind of ticks that box and is like, we've done that, let's focus on other things for a few years, and then that will come back round and we'll just find another thing in a few years' time. That's sometimes how it feels a little bit.
I mean, especially if you look at what's going into Soho Place at the moment. We had a real push for this cool, accessible work, and now it kind of feels like we've got fringe transfers, and it's cool to see the variety there.
It's cool.
But it would be nice to see, being one of the only theatres in the West End that is accessible, it would be nice to see them do some more work about disabled lives and disabled stories, or even just, taking the opportunity to cast disabled actors in the space in the West End where you can do that.
But also it's so much pressure on one theatre. I think they programme some really interesting things. I think they're doing something really
they've got
interesting
some great work.
Like you say, fringe stuff and, all this stuff. But it's almost like a sign of we need another theatre or two like that is not only accessible, but also has the ability to pull in different shows of different sizes and make it work in the heart of the West End. Do you know what I mean? Which is exciting because that the appetite is there. It's just making sure that it actually happens. And there are theatres that can make it work, and people are doing great work. So I never want to kind of forget that or pretend like it's all awful, because it would do a disservice to people who are doing the thing.
All right, you ready to move on to question 5?
I am.
On the poster for your play, Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me, how many balloons are tied to you? Tied to the back of your wheelchair?
I've got the poster up there, but it's blocked. No, I can't see it. I don't know. I'm going to try. I can't see.
No cheating.
I'm not looking, Ellie. I wish I could. I'm really annoyed. I've got a light in the way. I've seen that poster so many times. I should know this.
That's what I was kind of hoping for.
8.
8? Is that your guess?
Yeah, it's a bad one. No, is it 6? I don't know. 8, 7.
What are you looking in?
I don't. Wait. 7.
You've gone between your two initial guesses. One of those was correct. It was 6.
Oh, it's 6. Okay, no, I'm okay with that. If it was going to be 8, I was going to be raging because that was my first thing. Okay, 6. It is what it is. I've got oh gosh, is it Fabby Dabby dolls?
Oh yeah, they're so cute.
I've got one of those over there of me with the balloons.
That's amazing. So obviously I bring up this show because we need to speak about your writing. A lot of people may have been introduced to you through the Little Big Things and don't also know that you are a very successful writer as well. You won, correct me if I'm getting the title of this one, but the Women's Prize for Playwriting?
Oh, you nailed it. Ding, ding. Yeah.
I did it. I didn't write it down. I got really scared. You won that. You won that in 2020. You most recently worked on the Netflix show Toxic Town. You were episode 3 with Jack Thorne, who, if you don't know Jack Thorne's work, take a look at Adolescence right now. Huge writer who's done so much TV, but also has done a lot of work in theatre as well. But I wanted to speak to you about writing for both theatre and TV. What are the different challenges with each, and what are the areas in each that you like to explore?
I think my first love will always be theatre. That's how I got into writing and got into performing. So there's always a love there. And I think part of the joy of writing for theatre is there are less rules in a way. Like there's a reason it's called a play. But I say that I really love writing for TV because there are rules. And I love with TV, it feels like there's more people involved from the early stages. You've got producers, you've got script editors, everyone involved, even from pitch stage.
And a lot of shows will do like writers' rooms as well, won't they?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I haven't done loads of writers' rooms, but I've really enjoyed the ones that I've done. That's something I'd really like to do more of, please. I've just started writing a book for a musical. It's the first musical that I've been involved with as a writer, and I'm very, very excited.
I'm getting exclusives, Amy. Exclusives.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I have been desperate to write a book for a musical. I don't think I'd write the lyrics, or maybe not for a while. And also I like collaboration. I think that's one of the reasons I really enjoy writing for TV, because there's so much collaboration. So to have that with a musical is really exciting. So I'm writing a book for a musical at the moment, which hopefully we'll do a workshop of later this year, maybe, which is very
Please send me an invite.
Oh, absolutely. Top of the list.
Forget the producers. Forget everyone else. We need Ellie Talks Theatre right now.
They're like, but we need money. And I was like, no, we need Ellie. But there's another project I'm working on at the moment, which I basically, this is such a chaotic answer. I'm so sorry.
That is the vibe of my channel. So...
because when I got into writing, I wrote a play and then sent it to everyone and everywhere, and got some positive responses. Won the Women's Prize for Playwriting with it, but also got onto quite a few schemes like Channel 4 screenwriting, BBC Writers' Room, Royal Court Introduction to Playwriting. So it felt like in 2020, I almost did this year that felt like an MA in writing, which was great because I couldn't leave the house. So what else was there to do? There was no acting covered in. And as part of Channel 4 screenwriting, I started writing this script, like a spec script. And it's still being worked on today, but we've got the BBC involved, and I'm working on it with Red Production Company, who are amazing. They've got really cool people involved in producing it. I mean, it's not been greenlit or anything like that yet. We're still very much writing the first couple of episodes to see if commissioners like it enough for it to be made. But I think it's a really good example of patience is key in everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's sometimes weird when people ask me about writing, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually quite busy with writing, but nothing is happening. Nothing is actually, you can't go and see anything right now, but I am overwhelmed with writing. And it's quite hard for some people to understand, I think. It's made me respect the process a lot more as an actor, really.
All right, you ready for question number 6?
So ready.
This is one of my favourite bits of trivia I found when looking through your CV.
Oh, gosh.
Because you were in Mamma Mia 2.
I was. Mamma Mia, here we go again.
Prior to Waterloo, the song in Mamma Mia 2, a piano version of a different ABBA song is being played. What is this song?
Oh.
You can kind of work it out based on who the scene is with, if you can remember that. Because it is a reference to which dad is in that scene.
Is it I Can Still Recall All Last Summer?
It is All Last Summer. Wasn't it one of the members of ABBA playing the piano as well?
Yeah. He was there in the corner on the piano.
I did want to speak a little bit about your costume.
That's me. There I am. So the hair, I was absolutely thrilled because originally they were going to use my actual hair, but it would have meant I would have been in the makeup chair so early, like with the others who were having their... And then they were like, we're going to use a wig. And I was like, yes. But the other thing with that outfit is the jacket was originally made for Cher. So Cher tried on that jacket.
What?
Yeah, it was originally made for Cher. She tried it on. She didn't end up using it. And so it came to me. So me and Cher technically share a wardrobe. And that will be on my tombstone.
What are some of the differences between doing a musical theatre on film over doing it in an actual theatrical space?
With the film, we were actually there for a long time because I can't remember how long rehearsals were, but it was over a few weeks. So it kind of felt like we were rehearsing for an actual show with the detail. But it was really interesting seeing the process because everything is so well thought out beforehand. Whereas in the room, in my experience anyway, choreography is kind of played with and changed and new ideas are brought in. Whereas with that, it was very much... I mean, they'd done a whole kind of mock-up recording of it before we arrived. So the choreography was the choreography. And a few things could change, but it was very much like, this is what we got to do for this shot. This is this shot. And it was quite bitty in places as well. You know, I don't think we ever ran the full number in rehearsals. It was kind of, okay, and stop there, and then we move here and everything like that. Which was really exciting. But the weird thing about it was after we'd filmed the whole number for the film, we then did a 360 version, which I believe is available on YouTube still. Oh. So we had to almost re-choreograph it in the space so it could run through like it was in a theatre and you was sitting watching it. And that was wild because I remember I had to absolutely race from one end of the set to the other end of the set at one point. And if you're watching the 360 version there, if you positioned in the right place, you can just see me gunning it down sweating. And I don't think I've ever worked so hard in a musical number.
Wow, we've got your final 2 questions of this round. I've grouped them together because they are both shows you performed at Soho Place.
Hey, Soho Place. Come on, Nika.
Question 7. What year was Medea first performed?
What, the OG one?
The OG one.
I don't know this answer.
It would be way too easy if I gave you what year did you do it.
I know, I was like, no, I'm going to properly embarrass myself if I make a guess because I'm going to be out by hundreds of years probably.
If you get within 10 years, I'll give it to you.
Within 10 years? But it's ages ago. I'm looking at the poster like it's going to help me. There's nothing on there about the year.
Sophie's just going to shout the answer to you.
Come on, Sophie. I don't think I can guess. I don't want to embarrass myself. I can't do it to myself, Ellie. I can't do it to my family. Good Lord. I'm so tempted to just swear really loudly, so you have to cut all this out.
No, because I censor swearing, so...
Oh, that was embarrassing for everyone involved, wasn't it? I really love doing Medea as well.
But maybe you'll have a better shot at question 8. In the song Guide You from The Little Big Things, how many different colours are mentioned throughout?
Let's paint it red, let's paint it paint with all the colours and wait, oh no. Wait, is it just 2? It's painted red. No, wait, no. Go run down the page. Go.
There's a section you've missed as well, but I don't know.
Hang on, okay. Well, we're going to be here a while then, aren't we? Let's paint it red, let's paint it with all the colours. Oh, black isn't darkness. Yeah. I got it. Black isn't darkness. Is that how this song starts? I'm trying to channel. Is it 3? Oh, I only got it with your help though, to be fair.
Yeah, for a song that's all about painting in so many different colours, it was so funny when I went, oh, that'd be a really good question. I went, they only mentioned 3 different colours here.
And one is technically a shade.
Paint with all the colours? All 3 of them?
All 3. But the thing that kind of threw me there is that when we were in the VOMs doing choreography, when they're going like up and doing all the flying, we're doing
Spinning.
like BSL kind of inspired choreography, and we're basically doing like different colours. So we're mentioning loads of colours just through BSL, not through.
Oh, I should have pulled out the pro shot.
And do you know, there was one performance, I think, where, because Johnny in that number had to like run up to a cannon and was like, let's paint it red. And then it like red explosion. And there was like one performance where the cannons had been set with the wrong colours. So he was like, let's paint it red. And then just blue confetti flew out. It was very, very funny.
The little big things, but Henry Fraser is colourblind. So obviously there's so much we could speak about Little Big Things. Like that was just an immense show. And also Medea as well. These were, if I'm correct, your West End debuts.
Yeah, Medea was my West End debut.
So can you speak a little bit about the journey of doing these shows? Speak about your journey with At Soho Place and how that moment felt as well. Finally, like with years in this industry, working and waiting your time to finally make your debut.
Oh, yeah, it was a big moment, to be honest. And I think when I heard that there was a venue being built that was going to be accessible, I got a little bit excited. And I thought, I wonder what might be going on in there. I don't build myself up for things because I can't cope with the disappointment. But with Medea, it was an interesting journey to that because Dominic Cook, the director, he came to watch Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me when I was performing it at the Kiln. Then he brought me in to do a workshop of Medea. Oh no, I got the story wrong. So
all of that, all of it. Future me, cut it all.
I'll start again.
Rewind.
My journey to Medea was interesting because Dominic Cook, the director, came to watch me in Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me. We met and had a chat about my writing, and then he brought me in for an audition for a play that he was doing. But when you have this feeling in the back of your head, and it wasn't even me putting myself down, I was like, I just got a feeling this isn't going to go my way anyway, but I'm going to really try hard. Didn't get it. And then I went to see it and it was amazing. Liz Carr, it was in The Normal Heart at the National. Which
yes,
Liz obviously
of
went on
course.
to win the Olivier for. And it was a beautiful production and kind of made me, I was like, I really want to work with Dominic and this team. After that audition, Dominic called me in to do the workshop for Medea. This wasn't it. We didn't know anything was happening with it. It was just to see what it was going to be like with Sophie and Ben. And it went really well, the workshop. And then when it got a spot in a theatre in the West End, I got the call to ask me if I wanted to do it. And it was one of those moments where you hear all these tales or you get told, just go in and do your best because they might remember you in the future. But you don't always hear that actually being followed through with. Yeah. And the fact that this director, who I really respect, remembered me and kept bringing me back until we found a way to work together. And I learned so much from him on that show. It made me want to go back and do every play I've ever done again, but better, as an actor. No, it was really fun. And it was kind of a masterclass just watching Sophie and Ben, because my track spent the entire time in the audience watching the play. I said some lines and got up and cried a little bit on stage. But fundamentally, that show was incredible because I just got to watch a masterclass in rehearsals and performance from Sophie, Ben, and the entire cast actually. And then the Little Big Things was kind of another weird way of getting the job, because I just got asked to do the workshop in 2021, and I'm pretty sure, I keep saying this story and I really need to fact check myself because I might be completely wrong, but I think Emma Kingston did the demo of the original Agnes song, which changed, and she knew that the character was a wheelchair user and said to Nick, do you know AMY TRIGG? Because me and Emma were at Mount View together. She was a year above me in Mount View. And said that's how I got brought in for the first workshop of Little Big Things. They kind of got in touch with my agent. And I kept being brought back, which was a shock because I was so nervous in that first workshop. I was really worried. Was scared. I was listening to my hypnotherapy tapes, trying to get in the right frame of mind. And I think you can tell because in that first workshop, I think I was quite quiet. Aside from when we were actually doing the work, I was quite quiet and maybe kept myself to myself a little bit. But gradually, my confidence grew and kept being brought back and met some amazing people on the way.
Definitely met a lot of amazing people on the way because you met your fiance working on Little Big Things as well.
Yeah, I met Jordan. And like, I mean, that was weird because we really didn't speak much in the first workshop. We found this voice note the other day where I'd been recording a harmony line and then had accidentally kept it recording. It was probably the only time we spoke in that week. And we're talking about the Jubilee line. Yeah, so much happened on that show. And friends for life. And I think that's one of the reasons that show will always have such a special place in my heart, because not only did I love the show, I loved the character, I loved the team and the cast, and I was literally falling in love when it was all happening. Yeah, it was very, very special. But it's kind of weird that those two shows I didn't technically audition for.
Oh wow!
When you actually think about it. Because I did workshops for Little Big Things, which
workshop
were my
audition, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because they could have very, easily been like, oh, it's not quite right, and we'll move on to someone else. Because also I was so ill. Oh, Ellie, there was one workshop. This is why me and Jordan didn't get together until rehearsals, because we kept missing each other. The Little Big Things workshops were plagued with illness.
To be fair, you said 2021. That was a time of illness.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But there was this one workshop where we all rocked out. We were all excited. It was the first time I'd met Elle. And Elle and I immediately became very close friends. We went for a coffee after that first day of rehearsals and spent hours talking. And it was that was the OG love story for me. In the Little Big Things. Pre-Jordan, it was Elle. But basically, had this moment where I was like, I'm back doing a workshop of musical I love. I've found a new friend. And then I ended up hospitalised with influenza. And flu just ravaged through the company. So by the end of the 2 weeks, they were doing this they had the very small cast. It was hilarious, yeah.
At the end of that round, I can tell you, I think you got 5 points. 5 out of 8.
Okay, I'll take it.
So, you gave me a bunch of musicals to give you general knowledge on, and I'm going to just quick fire through them. Once you give me an answer, I will then move on to the next question. Okay. All of these are musicals that you have specifically given me, so you should have a decent bit of knowledge on each of them, I'm expecting.
It's basically you saying it's your fault if you get it wrong, and I respect that. It's true.
Number 1. Which London theatre was the home to the UK premiere of Fun Home?
Young Vic.
Correct. Who directed the film adaptation of Jonathan Larson's Tick, Tick, Boom?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
The song Cycle, The Last 5 Years, famously tells Jamie's story in chronological order and Kathy's story in reverse, with their stories only overlapping in the middle. What is the title of the song where this happens?
The Next 10 Minutes.
Correct. In Hedwig, I'm going to do this in post. In Hedwig and the Angry Inch, what are the sweets that Hedwig is offered by the American GI in their first meeting?
Is it gummy bears?
It is gummy bears.
Yes.
From the original premiere, how many years did it take next to normal to make it to London's Donmar warehouse?
Wait, I can work this out. I know it's quick fire, but wait, I think it premiered in 2008.
That would be correct.
Yeah, so I've got to work... maths. 10 for 16 years?
15 years.
Wait, where did I go wrong?
It was 2023.
Oh, shoot. I knew 2008 because I saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to see the original Broadway production and I saw it.
Yeah, Broadway was 2009, though, because it was off Broadway 2008. But it was counted from 2008.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm thinking, yeah, cool. Okay.
Okay, anyway, quick fire. Yes. During Maureen's protest in Rent, she instructs the crowd to join in with her, mimicking an animal sound. What is this sound?
Moo! Cow.
A moo. The Marianne Elliott Revival Company gender swapped the role of Amy, now being played by Jonathan Bailey. Yeah. What is the character's new name in this version of the show? From Amy to...
Today is for... Today is for... Today is for... I saw it as well. And my battery's running out. This is so stressful. is for Jamie! Jamie!
It is Jamie!
That was so loud. I'm so sorry.
In Hamilton, which object is characterised by an ensemble member, originated by Ariana DeBose?
Bullet!
Correct. Who are the 4 characters to perform in the Joanna Quartet in Sweeney Todd?
The quartet?
In the quartet.
Well, Sweeney Todd, Anthony, the judge.
Not the judge.
Is it no?
No.
Okay, then Joanna.
One more.
I don't know.
They get their own proper little section.
Is it the beggar woman?
It is indeed the Beggar Woman, I'll give you that. Avenue Q famously beat Wicked at the 2004 Tony Awards, but there was one category where both shows were nominated and Wicked won over Avenue Q. What was this category?
Wicked won over Avenue Q?
At the Tony Awards, there was one category where Avenue Q and Wicked were in the same category, but Wicked won over Avenue Q. What was this for?
Music? No. Or book? Wait. What? Oh wait, no. But is it? Does this include like actors?
It does include actors.
Oh, okay. So did Idina Menzel win?
Correct.
Okay.
Leading actress in a musical for Idina Menzel. How many performances did Merrily Roll Along originally have on Broadway before closing? This is the original production, not the revival.
I've got no idea.
68.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Finally, how old was your Little Big Things co-star, Lindsay Haitley, when she was Olivier Award nominated for her take on the narrator in Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
She was young. She was really young. I don't know. I'm trying to work out from... No, this is quick fire. It's not 18. It's not 18, but 18?
It's not 18. She was 21.
21! But the reason I said 18, I was like, I feel like I know it was either 18 or 21, like the big birthdays. Oh, rats.
Well, after that round, you did very well.
Quite proud of myself, can't lie.
You got 9 out of 12.
I feel like I need a Xanax.
That's really good. Honestly, I was very pleased when you gave me your list of musicals, and I was like, these are so good. I didn't realise you were so much of a Sondheim girly.
I love Sondheim. Love it. For our like showcase at the end of Mount View, I did opening doors from Merrily. And it was, I think everyone was a bit confused why we were doing it, because it's not a very typical showcase. Like most people were going out there and like giving it large, like with vocals. And we were like, we're opening doors, singing. It was so much fun. It was great.
But that's one of your dream roles as well. Is it because of this memory, or what about that role really draws you to it?
I think you just get to do so much in that role, like playing the different ages. I think she's a really fascinating character. Like even just that entrance in the first number, which is like, know what I'm having? I just think it's a beautiful musical. I really do. And I love that it celebrates different forms of love. And she's also a really funny character. Like she's got all the funniness, but she's also got these really emotional moments. Like Not a Day Goes By. I think it's a beautiful musical, and I'd very much like to play her. But give me any song to like Amy and Company. I'll take whatever.
So good. I mean, you also mentioned Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd, like another fantastic comedic role.
Yeah.
You also and also going with that vibe, you can kind of see it for all of your characters here. Sally as well from Cabaret. Obviously, it has some really difficult things to tackle as well, but has this kind of energy of like that comedic energy to her, and that wall that she has up as well.
Exactly. I think those are the characters that really appeal to me, and the ones that can be really fun and mischievous. Like with Sally, you know, you got Perfectly Marvelous, which I love that song. I think it's my favourite song from the show. But then you get to like, you know, maybe This Time and Cabaret. It's just, I think it's such a beautiful role. So who knows, in the future, maybe.
Honestly, can we speak about our love for Hedwig as well? Hedwig, I love that musical.
I love it. I've loved it for many, many years. I don't know about you, like when you like found it, but it was one of those things that the soundtrack is just ridiculous.
And obviously means a lot more to me now than like before.
Yeah,
it's like, why am I attaching so much to this story about someone who's trans? Oh, wow.
You were like, yes. And I feel like Hedwig reaches so many people for different reasons as well. Like you say, you might not realise why you connect with the work at first, and then later on you're like, but Hedwig, I went to see it because I'd never seen it live. And then when it was on in New York at the Belasco Theatre, I we got tickets to go and see it. So I saw Neil Patrick Harris and then I saw Darren Criss. And honestly, like one of the best experiences in theatre. It was incredible. There was one scene have you seen it live?
I saw Davina Camber do it 3 times.
Oh, I'm really gutted I missed that. But there's that scene where Hedwig is talking to Tommy. It's when Tommy is young and playing guitar. Yeah. I just think it's one of the best scenes. And John Cameron Mitchell, writer, I just think the world of him. And we've got a mutual friend, and my friend brought him to come and watch Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me.
Oh.
I was like, it was the fastest the show has ever been done because I had so much energy.
Honestly, there's so many. Fun Home means a lot to me as well. Like, that was one of the first musicals. When I was really getting into musical theatre and starting to go to London, like, on my own, I always say, like, a lot of my love for musical theatre comes from, like, Heathers and, like, the Tumblr era of musical theatre. But it shows, like, well, when Heathers came to London, it shows, like, Fun Home. That really got me into it. With
Fun Home, I went to see it. I saw it, the original Broadway production. And again, just one of those experiences, probably like similar to when you saw it in London, like for the first time. I think it's just such a beautiful show to see. Like the soundtrack is amazing, but then when you see it, and because I think the book is so, I love a musical where the book is really strong, and I feel like that's probably a bit of a through line of like my favourite.
Fun Home is more of a play with music in that way, isn't it?
Gorgeous. And I actually had a bit of it because Jordan wasn't aware of Fun Home until the other night, and I took him. I literally sat him down on the sofa. I paused I think we were watching Gotham, and I was like, "We're going to pause this." And he was an educator. I played the Tony Awards performance. I was getting all these things up, and I was like, "Telephone Wire is beautiful," and he agrees now. But yeah, I love that show.
And speaking about all these different musicals, something that I think about a lot is like different roles that could potentially be played by a trans person, taking this work that already exists and maybe reframing it through that lens. Do you think there's any characters in musical theatre, maybe ones that aren't dream roles of yours, but like musical characters in general, that you would like to see tackled through the lens of a wheelchair user or through a different kind of disability?
I think there are so many. Like, I always feel like almost any. I mean, there are exceptions, of course, and that's something, because I think people, I've had reactions when I've said, I could play almost any part, and they're like, yeah, but what if there's in the script and they have to run a marathon and they like do that, and I'm like, well, obviously I wouldn't play that part, would I? Yeah. So I think there are exceptions, but I think there are so many, and I think it depends. There are even parts in my head I'm like, probably not, but you never know what a revival is going to look like.
Because I think we're starting to see with some of these revivals a Shakespeare lens on some of the classics. Could you think about, like, Shakespeare now is so open and, like, every single production has to have, like, a completely different angle on it. Yeah. And I feel like that's where we're starting to get to with, like, Oklahoma, Sunset Boulevard, these productions that are taking big swings. And, I mean, mentioning Oklahoma...
Ali Stroker.
I feel like as we're starting to reinvent these pieces, we're starting to see new lenses and new takes and a lot more accessibility being pushed into it. I mean, literally that same role was played by a trans woman on tour as well. Big up that production of Oklahoma.
That's what excites me. The shows that you wouldn't expect, the revivals of them. And I think there's a lot of excitement about revivals. I love new writing. I love it. I mean, I'm a writer, I should.
Yeah, of course.
There's something really exciting about revivals, especially of musicals, to see what can be done with them. So I don't know the answer to that question. I want to be surprised.
Are you ready for the final round of our quiz?
This is a really hard one, is it?
This is the impossible round.
Yeah, go on then.
But if you can get answers here, it is worth double the points.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Question number 1. In your first RSC vlog, you went to see their production of As You Like It and reviewed it in 3 words. What were these 3 words?
Are you kidding me? Oh no. Wait, As You Like It. Playful?
That is one of them. Hold on, that is one of them.
Oh, goodness me. I don't know. Innovative?
No.
Joyful?
Joyous, I'll give you that. It's kind of innovative. You're close on that, but a different word, a simpler word.
Clever?
Not quite.
Inventive?
Closer.
Fresh.
Little bit further. Come on. I mean, we're playing hot and cold now.
Inventive.
I'll give you 1 point for that.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. What was the other one?
The final word, creative.
Rats. Yeah, you were really leading me there as well. And I was like, no.
I hope that shows you what this round's going to be like.
Yeah, mean. Yeah.
Question 2. You won your Olivier Award back in 2024 for your role of Agnes in The Little Big Things. Name all of the other actresses that won that year.
That won?
Yep, that won the awards. So you're looking for leading actress in a musical, leading actress in a play, and leading actress in a supporting role in a play. Obviously, you can name yourself, so we don't need to do that one again.
Oh, no. Nicole Scherzinger won actress in a musical. Yep. Sarah Snook won Best Actress in a Play. Who won Best Supporting?
It was a play that didn't get loads of love at these awards, but was a very well-deserved win here.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Hayden Gwynn.
It's the third one. She won posthumously for Winston Went to War with the Wireless.
Yes, of course, Hayden Gwynn. And I loved Billy Elliot when it first came out, so I was a big Hayden Gwynn fan. And like we crossed paths at an audition once, and she said some nice words to me, and I was like, Hayden Gwynn. Yeah.
That is me when I'm like interviewing people as well. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, 2 points for you there. Question 3. You worked very closely with the Kiln Theatre on many different occasions. Obviously, your play, Reasons You Shouldn't Love Me, went there originally. But how many seats are in that venue?
294?
Is so close that I will give you both points.
Are you kidding me? Wait, how many is it?
292. I would have given it to you if you were 10 out.
Okay.
And you were 2 out. So I'll give you both points there.
Okay. I am amazing.
Question 4. It's been 6 years since you performed in Measure for Measure at the RSC. Finish your character's line. Must I tomorrow? Oh, injurious love that respites me a life.
That respites me a life. Oh, injurious love that respites me a life. Da 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 da.
Not quite, but
I have
Must
no
I
idea.
tomorrow? Oh, injurious love.
I know the scene. I'm crying. I'm pregnant. I'm being taken off.
Must I tomorrow? Oh, injurious love that respites me a life. Whose?
I have no idea.
Whose very comfort is still a dying horror.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got it. Would not have got that.
I think that might be my most evil question of the entire quiz. I wanted to phrase the question in a way where I go, you haven't done this in so long. Here's Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's been a while. I tried to, there was a speech in Taming of the Shrew that I had to say really, really quickly. And I tried doing it the other day and failed miserably.
I should have given you that. Whoops. You can blame Kiss Me Kate for that. Kiss Me Kate's existence is the only reason that I didn't do this with Taming of the Shrew.
Okay. I'm blaming that.
And we have come to the final question of our quiz interview. For this, I would like you to unspoil the image I have sent you.
Oh, yes.
This is a photo from my seat when I saw The Little Big Things for the first time. Yeah. I would like you to look at that image and tell me the row and the seat number I am sat in.
Okay. Now, your row A, B, are you row C? That's a no.
I'm Mona Lisa'ing right now. I need a full guess.
And maybe you're row B. B1.
Not quite. I'll give you a few more guesses.
C1.
It is rude because this venue does not have like very easy to guess seating.
Absolutely not. I was trying to guess because I remember what seat I was in when I sat in the audience for Medea, but you're on a different side.
I can tell you that so far you've got neither right.
Neither? D14.
I can give you 1 point for getting D. I am in D61.
Well, I was never going to get there, was I? I was about to go up number by number. We would have been here till like,
And
yay!
here is my ticket. We would have got the same trains as well, because we surprisingly live quite near each other.
Yeah, we do. We really
We're both Essex girlies.
I'm surprised actually that we haven't crossed paths on the trains, to be fair.
Do you know what's really funny though? I think I have accidentally crossed paths with Jordan.
Well, yeah, he's on the trains all the time.
Amy, I have your final points total for this quiz interview. Out of a possible 30 points, you scored a very reasonable 20 points.
Well, it's more than half.
I think that's a very strong score for a very difficult quiz. And you will be added to the leaderboard of future guests on this series. But right now you're the only one.
Which I'm thrilled about.
So you're top of the list right now.
Exactly.
So that's great.
I'm top of the leaderboard. And please make everyone's questions very, very difficult in the future.
Thank you so much. Is there anything that you'd like to plug at this point? Any socials that you'd like to direct people to? Any work that is coming up that you'd like people to watch?
No, I mean, I've got some bits coming out on TV, but I don't know when they're coming out. And I don't know what I'm allowed to say. So I'm going to be a really annoyed actor who's like, this stuff, it will happen when it happens. Go see Hamilton. Go see Jordan in Hamilton.
Go see Jordan in Hamilton.
Yeah, there we go. I know I'm biased, but you know when you see someone, when I saw him doing Lawrence Phillip for the first time, you're like, oh, it's so cool to see someone who is so perfect for this show, like style and seeing him dance. He's in his voice. But yeah, he's amazing. And then when seeing him as Hamilton was so exciting. Yeah, he's amazing.
Amy, let's just go together. Let's book a show.
Yeah, we actually should. We'd have a great time.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I will leave links to Amy's socials in the description down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me. It helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. There's other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.